We begin in Ontario, the first day of spring and the first day of newly relaxed rules around restaurants. Some regions being allowed more people indoors, while some of the province's hardest hit areas are opening up their patios. Laura McQuillan heads off our coverage this morning. Laura, let's talk about what changed in Ontario.
Right, John. So I'm in downtown Toronto. It is a grey lockdown zone. And as you can see behind me, there is a patio here where people could eat their breakfast at this restaurant. It is open. Not a lot of people out here at the moment, but it is kind of cold. So we'll have to wait and see how the rest of the day plays out. But in terms of what has changed, well, that is the big change here in a grey lockdown zone. Anywhere in Ontario from now, they can open outdoor dining, but with one catch to it. It has to be with people from your same household, or if you live alone, you can join another household. But the more controversial change that the government of Ontario announced yesterday affects red and orange zones, and that has to do with indoor dining. What they've said is that can be expanded up to 50% of capacity at the restaurant. So in a red zone, you could have up to 50 people indoors as long as it's below that 50%. And in an orange zone, up to 100 people indoors. And when epidemiologists, infectious disease specialists heard this news yesterday, it rang alarm bells for them, John. They are worried about putting more people indoors together, people not wearing masks because they're eating. And we reached out to epidemiologist Dr. Christopher Labos this morning for his take on what Ontario is doing here. Here's what he told us.
It's potentially problematic that as the case numbers seem to be going up, you would be loosening restrictions because that can only encourage more spread of the virus. People are not going to be wearing masks when they're indoors. The risks of transmission are not negligible. And in a situation where you have a growing number of variants and more spread of the virus, this is potentially not the correct course of action.
And while infectious disease specialists are saying that about more indoor dining, they are saying the outdoor idea is a good one because people want to get together anyway. They have COVID fatigue. It's a safer way for people to spend time together. But when we talk about these red zones and indoor dining, just in the past day, we have learned about a steakhouse west of Toronto where there has been an outbreak of COVID-19. I just spoke with health officials there in Halton region, and they told me that 5 staff at this steakhouse have become infected and potentially more than 200 patrons may have been exposed to a variant of concern. In fact, they say they don't have the full list of patrons to contact yet, but they do want them all to self-isolate and get a COVID test. And as we see numbers in Ontario rising almost daily now, John, there is a lot of concern that too much reopening could be a step in the wrong direction.
Thanks for this, Laura.